Well, g'day, my name's Jonathan Brake and I'm one of the principals of Integrate, and as you'll notice I'm in Sydney, Australia right now, and this is actually near my hometown, and I'm just back visiting for a little while from the United States. So I just wanted to share a moment on our concept of wells and fences. It's an area in Australia that means a lot in the agricultural industry, but it also means a lot to us in business. So let's just give a bit of a backstory on what it means, what we're talking about when we talk about wells and fences. Out in the outback in Australia, the land is very dry. In fact, Australia is regarded as one of the driest continents on the planet. And so what they have is they have cattle stations. Some of them are around the size of Texas. They're very, very large, and they don't have fences. And so the question always is, if you don't have a fence and you've got 50 to 100,000 head of cattle, how do you keep them? How do you look after them? You think about the average ranch, you know, with all the fences, keeps the cattle in, keeps them safe, makes it easy to herd them when it comes to time to herd. So in Australia, what they do, in the dry lands in particular, what they do is they dig a deep well, and that well has lots of nutrients. Obviously the water that comes up has a lot of nutrients in it, a lot of minerals, and a very, very pungent scent to it. And they use that well to flood the land. Now they'll dig what they call soaks as well, which will allow the water to form ponds so that the cattle have something to drink. But they'll flood the land as well, and over a period of time, that land will blossom, it will become green and fertile. And what it will do is the smell and the scent and all the minerals that are in that water draw the cattle in. They draw the cattle to where that water is. So if you've got a large property, this is the way you actually get your cattle to come in so you can take them to market. And so there's a great analogy here. You think about the richness of water and flooding the land and the life that water brings to what is very, very dry and barren land, and how that relates to your business. And I look at a lot of businesses and I think, you know, as business people, we kind of get a bit nervous. And what happens is that we basically end up creating these fences around our, rather than digging wells and creating the best. So before we talk about what it means to dig great wells, let's talk about some fences first, okay? Now, so fences are those things that at the end of the day, they cost us money, they cost us effort, they cost us time, and they probably cost us customer loyalty as well. And if you think about that in the context inside your business as well, we create fences to keep employees where they are, or to trap them into certain roles. And we may not even do it deliberately. It might be an accidental thing. It might be just we haven't even thought through it. We haven't provided what we needed. But at the end of the day, if people feel trapped, if people feel like they're not able to give their best, they won't give their best. And if your clients feel trapped, well, they won't be your best clients. So let's talk about digging wells. Now remember, a well is dug, the water floods the land, the water brings life to the land, the smell of life, that energy, that greenness, and the water itself attracts the cattle in. So what we're talking about here is creating attractional culture. And what are some of the things that create an attractional culture? Well, I think the very first one is understanding why you exist in the first place. And I work with a number of clients on this and realize that it's not the product, it's not the service that they offer that's causing them problems. It's that they haven't created a reason to exist. They haven't got compelling passion behind the business. So therefore they're unable to communicate that passion, and then the people involved will only give so much if there's not something driving them to give that extra bit. So that's one area. So developing your culture is very important to digging wells. Another area for digging great wells is training your team, making sure you've got the right people doing the right things at the right time. We've heard this a number of times, but it's actually understanding who are your right people. I hear a lot in business about people saying, I want the right people doing the right things. And I ask them, well, who are your right people? And they kind of give me blank looks. It's like, oh, I'm not really sure who the right people are. But you need to have the right people. And obviously that flows out of number one, which is your culture. If you know why you exist and what you're on about and your vision and your values and all those sorts of things, then you can be very clear about the right people. And that can become part of your hiring process and part of your onboarding process and part of your letting go process as well. Another great well is your structures and your systems. Now, one of the things I've found is that a lot of systems are built by systems people and not really with human consumption in mind. And so we find that there's a lot of systems in place, be them internal or that we make our clients jump through, that don't make sense. And one of the leadership programs I love is a program called the Leadership Challenge. And they talk about this concept of challenging the process. And as a business, we should always challenge the process. That digs great wells. And it's not challenging it because we just want to be a pain, but it's challenging it because everything should be challenged and everything should be questioned. Are we doing these things the best way? Are we providing the right output for our clients? Are our people happy? Are we providing the right systems and structures? Does the technology match what we're on about? All these things that add, even though they might seem to cost to actually implement them, they definitely add profit to the bottom line. Another well is the well of innovation, and it's a great well to dig, because if you're not innovating in your business stays the same and eventually will start declining because the world around you is constantly on the move. So creating a space for innovation, allowing people, as we talked about in one of the other wells, to challenge the process, to create that space where you can bring in possibly new products or new ways of doing things, and looking at what's going on in your market. Sometimes borrowing things from other markets can be another great way to dig that well. So innovation is very, very important, and sustainable innovation. It's all well and good to say, let's just do a new product, but if it costs too much to implement that product and it hurts the business too much in the short term, then we've got to decide, well, is it sustainable? Is it going to allow us to continue to grow? So innovation for innovation's sake doesn't help us, but innovation to change our business and to really create that richness that attracts more clients and attracts better people into our business is a great one. Another well is great leadership, and leadership is critical. You need to have good leaders in place. They need to know what they're doing, they need to know what they're on about and how they're going to go about doing what they're doing. So leadership is very, very important. So there's a lot of wells you can dig, and those wells will draw up great resources, will flood your land, make your business attractive. Make it attractive not only to your customers, but to the right people to come on board. And we know that without the right people on board, we don't have the right business anyway. So I encourage you to think really carefully about what are the great wells that you could be digging today and into the future. Where are the areas that you could be challenging, growing? What things could you be doing that will give your business a great future? Because times are uncertain, things are changing rapidly, and at the end of the day, we've got to change to suit that. So I encourage you today to think about digging wells. Think about the Australian land, the dry land being flooded with beautiful water that draws all that cattle in, and how you can make a difference in your business today. Welcome to Sydney, and welcome to my old hometown, and I hope you have a great day.